10 years ago, the serial killer known as Red John killed my wife and daughter. We've been hunting for him ever since. The list is down to 5 names. That is a very manageable number.
I hear you're getting close.
Where'd you hear that?
It's like he's read Jane's mind.
Who did this to you? Gather all 5 suspects together, same place, same time.
Jane, don't do this.
Patrick, this is enough. It's gone far enough.
No, we're just getting started.
Wait, no!
It was very difficult to say goodbye to Red John. We'd been with him for 6 years almost. And although he was never on screen, he was very much a big character in the show.
Listen, let's talk about this. Just wait.
No, I'm truly sorry, but it is totally out of my hands. Well, I always liked you, Patrick.
No, this is...
Hello, Patrick.
We had always thought of it as Red John as, Jane's Moby Dick, the thing he would pursue to the end of the show. But it became clear to us over the space of a couple of seasons that that wasn't true.
I don't want the FBI to get him. You knew this day was coming. It's here.
Getting rid of Red John was a great idea, but it really, for us, it provided an enormous challenge about what our new world would be.
It'll haunt you.
Oh, I'm not hesitating. I'm just savoring the moment.
There seemed to be such fertile territory there that we really wanted to explore that after the fact, which meant we had to accelerate to a degree the revelation of Red John.
So I thought the timing was really great, and I was not at all sad. If I never have to say Red John again in my life, I'll be happy.
As an actor, no. As a producer, yes. Certain elements of it were rewarding, but I think overall the idea of losing the main drive of the character was a difficult thing to do.
It is a bit like Dr. Frankenstein. You get very fond of the monster.
Husband, it's over. It's done. I'm gonna miss you.
A show is a living thing, and you have to respond to both what's happening in front of you and how it's playing in front of the audience.
It's a bit of a black art, trying to work out what the audience wants and what they're feeling about the show.
It had to follow its logical conclusion.
There's always like a decision to be made, like, okay, well, what do we do for the longevity of the show?
We've gone with this storyline for so long. I really felt like we'd played it out. And I think that emotionally the character was ready for it to be over.
I am done with that life. I did what I had to do, and I've moved on.
The heaviness of sort of that pursuit and what that meant to him and sort of, seeking revenge was something that really loomed over the show.
I'm sorry for everything.
At a certain point, the pursuit of Red John might in fact be keeping us from going places with the character of Jane that we would like to go otherwise.
You can't keep tricking the audience or vamping on the audience with that kind of critical plot point. So rather than play games anymore, it felt like the audience was ready for a definitive statement.
It would be a cheat to the show and a disservice to the character to suggest that he had moved on when the work wasn't done.
I mean, no smiley faces, unless there's a copycat serial killer, of course. But the real Red John is dead.
I don't think you can compete with the kind of life-changing nemesis that Jane had already. So we won't do Red John 2. We will find other ways of finding jeopardy and suspense and fear, if you like.
Red John is gone, but Jane lives on.
What do you think we should do?
I think we should trust our instincts.
You mean take a wild guess?
If I like, you know what, he's right. Let's get it done. Let's look into the scary future that we're going to do. Let's reinvent something. Let's reinvent a new world for ourselves.
We need to refocus the show because if we're just going to do Crime of the Week all the time, there needs to be something else that sets it apart from all of the other shows that just do Crime of the Week. Well, first we rope them in with some flash, then we steer them towards a couple of good inside men, a face, and then a good false blow-up.
I don't know what any of that means.
You'll get used to it.
The big challenge for the show after the death of Red John was essentially the same challenge that Jane was faced with, which is what next?
But the more we thought about it, the more we saw it as an opportunity and not a problem.
A dark cloud has disappeared. It liberated the show in so many ways for the actors and the writers and directors, and gave us so many new directions to go in.
You want to go dancing?
Yeah.
We jumped forward the story for 2 years, and we put Simon on a desert island. He directed that episode beautifully. And we really felt that to get him back, we couldn't creatively get him back to the CBI.
One of the things that Jane discovered over the years that he spent in the CBI and the FBI is that he's a natural at this work. It gives him so much pleasure and fulfillment and a sense of purpose.
You have a gift. It's not a gift. Whatever it is, it'll get you off this island and you can start your life again.
Going back doesn't have to mean going backwards. It can mean moving on.
I knew that it was going to require a complete reset after that point.
We moved to a new location, new cast members, and new kind of stories to tell. Because Jane was starting on a new phase of his life.
Since that was going to involve a passage of time, we had to then think about, okay, what would have happened to everyone else over that time?
So you joined the FBI, huh?
Yeah. Finished training at Quantico 5 months ago.
Look at you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I think the transition from the CBI to the FBI was very important for Cho. That was his goal, to kind of move forward in his law enforcement career.
For Cho, he's a lifer. There was never any question for Cho that he was going to stay in law enforcement, and really the only place for him to go was up.
Okay, you two take the side and the rear of the warehouse. You're with us.
We knew, and this was a melancholy realization, that we couldn't simply bring everyone back 2 years later and pretend like no time had passed.
Do you ever miss the CBI?
Sometimes. I mean, Grace and I are so busy. I don't really have much time to think about it.
I used to miss it, but not anymore.
It's not so much making cast changes as bringing fresh voices into the mix, expanding the ensemble. The other element that was a very important part of the show is if everyone around Jane knows Jane as well as they do, they stop being shocked or aggrieved or upset by what he's doing.
He made fools of us.
It won't be the last time.
How do I get him under control?
You don't.
No one wanted to see, Riggs V and Van Pelt, to leave.
Amanda and Owen have brought so much to this series. Really, a fantastic 6 years with them. Those two characters were very popular.
Drop your weapon! You all right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I miss going to work with Owen every day. He was a joy to work with, a great actor.
So you're agreeing with me?
I guess.
The crowd goes wild because Joe agrees with me.
From that narrative, technical point of view, it was important that we gave those characters their due with an episode that was about them.
We were discussed if we should, do the dramatic, shoot out and they die, or one of them dies in a funeral and stuff like that. And then really we thought, why? Why not just have them sail off into the sunset? It felt like far more of a satisfying ending for ourselves and for the audience.
You two take very good care of each other.
That's the main thing about the death of Red John, and it's a moment where everyone on the show realizes, okay, this phase of our life is over. What do we do next?
If you two ever think about getting back to our side of the business, give me a call.
I don't think so.
I think the reboot of the show just breathed a new breath of life into it.
My plan is a little more elaborate, but it's much more entertaining.
Of course it is.
It certainly opened up the opportunity for there to be, lighter moments with Jane.
We can't arrest people under false pretenses.
We can't?
No.
Why not?
It's illegal.
Oh, that's a problem. I guess we need to think outside of the box.
That's always a bad sign.
Simon had been dragging around that ball and chain for 6 years. To cut that off and to be able to walk free was a wonderful thing.
Hey, no, I'm just saying, if you need some help, I could help you. I mean, murder is my business.
Having killed his nemesis, we're watching a reinvented character in Patrick Jane.
I have someplace fabulous to go.
Simon's role in the show is unique, and Simon's position in terms of creating Patrick Jane is unique.
We've always worked very closely together on how to work the character and build the character.
You guys took your time getting here, didn't you? Another minute, I would have been just bobbing around there in the marina like a dead duck.
Maybe you'll learn your lesson.
Oh, what lesson is that?
If you'd actually told us about your plan in advance, we'd have had time to get here.
We went to Simon and we said, this is what we're going to do. You know, what do you foresee for it? How do you want to play it?
I think his focus becomes more about getting back on the bicycle of life as a normal person and closing the chapters, the dark chapters of his past, and opening new chapters. Did they tell you when I start work?
When we start.
We? What about your job?
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah, I told you. And you decided correctly.
There was never any choice.
Oh, come on. It'll be fun. Let's see what kind of trouble we can make.
From an acting point of view, it was hugely liberating and refreshing to be able to think about that character with a new life.
Federal officers coming through. Thank you.
As we pursue forward to the end of this season, we're trying to find some happiness for this character.
Doing very well, just a little big.
Big? Really?
Yeah, try a little less Joan Crawford and a little more Barbara Stanwyck.
How do you know what that means? I can't walk and you're giving me acting tips?
But to me, that comes more from inside and the dynamic with other characters, and I think mainly with Lisbon. She, to me, is the key to him progressing in life.
We always thought that you and Lisbon would, you know, get together.
Jane and Lisbon, you're right.
Are they in a relationship? A couple?
No. I used to think so, but they're not. I don't think.
They have kind of, over the years, developed a very close, friendly, platonic relationship that essentially kept their mutual attraction in suspense because there was a larger issue.
Oh, I missed you.
I missed you too.
They could never address the feelings they had for each other whilst they had this struggle they were involved in.
She was always someone in a position of power and authority, and now she's an employee, so it gives her a little less responsibility within the story.
It's sort of ironic. I mean, when I started the show, I hated being in charge and I hated having to tell people what to do, and then I got, quite comfortable with it. And I didn't want anybody else to be in charge. It felt weird.
Three extremist groups.
Why am I here?
What do you mean?
I have no business. Jane's gone.
We'll find him.
Watching Robin learn to do that, and watching the character learn to do that was a big part of the charm of the character. She wasn't a tough cop. She was someone who was trying to be a tough cop, which is a much harder job.
From a story point of view, I think that I'm pretty happy to have less responsibility and not be the one who's sort of getting blamed for Jane's inevitable antics.
Keep your hands where we can see them.
Well, gentlemen, something I can help you with?
It allowed her to be much, more relaxed and light and charming and, bring out the character more.
I was so certain I had him figured out. Welcome to my life.
We're really looking forward to a new world and how to develop that.
Oh, what song was the marching band playing, by the way?
The garbage truck, the marching band, you did all that.
The illusion of control. It made you feel safe enough to go where you kept the paintings.
Now that he is not constrained by that hunt, the things he can do are that much more groundbreaking. He's going to be pushing the envelope in larger and funnier ways.
That's a shame.
And what do you know about catching art thieves?
Nothing at all. That's why it'll be fun. I think there's some ideas that could be interesting that we could take it in different directions.
I am sure that some people find this side of you endearing, but I'm not one of them.
I was happy to have that kind of transition and go away, and now we have new energy and a new spirit, and it feels good right now.
Having done 150-something episodes with the title Red in it, or some derivative of Red, we decided to move on from that.
It was a huge relief to be able to start using other colors.
If we get 150 more episodes, we're going to be in deep trouble.